Hey, Shalom Mark, and this is Rakam Kapash from James London, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Chadash. When I give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful elect, pushing this truth in all sincerity. Back again with another video, and this one's is inspired off this YouTube video, right, from LBC, right? It's like a talk show podcast type thing, right? And it was entitled this, right? It says we are getting more involved in the war, right? And the title of the video is Israel is trying to drag the UK into the Iran war. And I first saw this, I'm pretty sure it was titled something else, like Israel dragging, these nations into war. And, it's like brothers, beginning with elders and apostles, been saying, right? The least of the flock shall draw them out, right? This is prophecy unfolding, right? And it's, it's not really us saying it, right? And it's not because these men know the scriptures, it's just because that's what's manifesting. It's evident that these men are dragging people into war, right? Into World War III, right? So the Most High is using these Amalekites, who they call themselves, Israelis or whatever, right? But they're really Amalekites, okay, of the nation of Edom, right? The Lord is using them to bring around great discontent and great strife in the world, right? And America is there, bombing Iran or whatever because of these guys, right? And that came out. So it was all speculation before. Oh, why are we doing this? And it's always been because of this. It's always because these small hats, all right, are doing the most, right? They're really running things out here as they have done as we tell you, But you say these things and they want to shut down your channels and stuff because apparently that's it's it's hateful or something, But it's just the truth, man. These men are out here pulling the strings, for Esau, right? Because that's their elites. The Amalekites are the elite tribe of Edom, right? That's where the which where your elites from. Okay, you're rich and powerful, right? You're rich banking families and so on. All right, so it ain't just us saying it now. These men are saying it because that's what's evident, right? And it's like Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3 tells you, wait for it, because it was shortly coming, will not tarry. These things will reveal themselves in due time, right? And like I said, it's evident that these men are the reason behind these things happening, for all this shit that's going on in the world, right? These men are, at the top of Amalek are involved. Right, and everyone's saying, even though even in America you got Marines and that saying they don't want to fight, a war on Israel's behalf and these kinds of things, right? Because they're just throwing, men and women at it, for something that's nothing to do with them. But it's always been that way. It's always been this way, right? So, right, it's coming out more and more, right? And people are starting to question, like what are these men doing in the earth? Are these men really the chosen people? Should we really be backing them through anything? Do we really believe them? You know what I mean? There's all these questions that are coming about, over these so-called, these Israelis, right? People, bringing them into question. All right, so that's what the video is going to be on anyway, right? So I want to start here in Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 20. So therefore hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh that he have taken against Edom, and his purposes that he have proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. So Elijah just explained, the small hats are the least of their flock, is the smallest of the tribes of Esau, of Edom, of Esau, right? But they hold the most power, right? They hold the most power, the most influence, right? As we know, the elites are a small percentage of the people in the world, but they control so much. All right, so they're just the head nation or head tribe in the nation of Esau, right? And it's because of their machinations, their desires, their plans, their schemes, right? Why the world is the way it is, and why we're being dragged, why the world is, these nations are being dragged into a war, or multiple wars, right? With them at the helm. Okay, we've been dragged into multiple wars, right? Unbeknownst, right? But these men have always been behind it. All right, they control these organizations, and they profiteer, right? Of all these situations, right? Because they're behind all of it. Okay. But yeah, the least of them is going to draw them out, right? So surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them, right? So everybody that's going to, come and aid Israel and, its endeavors or whatever, right? Eventually, because they're going to come, right? Regardless if they, they're and Aaron, they don't know what to do about it right now. They're going to eventually have to join the fray, right? And they're going to put themselves in harm's way. Obviously, they're going to be destroyed because the Most High is drawing them out. They're using the Israelis as bait, essentially, right, to draw everyone down there into the Middle East, right, so the Lord can destroy them all, destroy all their armies, right? That's what's happening. That's what the Lord is doing, right, using these small hats to do that. All right, and the same thing is reiterated here in Jeremiah 50, right, and it speaks about the same thing, but as in the form of Babylon, which America is Babylon, right, and the small hats run Babylon, right? They have puppet leaders, your presidencies and all that kind of stuff, right? But they're taking orders from the small hats, right? The least of the flock, right? The Israeli lobby and all these men are above them and telling them what to do and get this done or whatever. And so that's why America's always there in Israel's bullshit. All right. So therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh that he have taken against Babylon and his purposes that he have proposed against the land of the Chaldeans, right? Team and the Chaldeans. It's just swapping words, names basically, but it's talking about the same thing, right? Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out, right? It's the same thing. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, right? America is going to be destroyed because of all of this, right? And obviously everything that they've done, right? And the cry is heard among the nations because they're going to be shocked when it goes down, because no one was expecting that America was going to suffer like this, by getting involved in this war, But if I'm jumping up to verse 24 in the same chapter, right, it speaks about the snare, the trap that the Lord is set them up for, right? So it says here, I've laid a snare for thee, thou art also taken, O Babylon, right? Because you thought you was running the show, you and your elites and that, you thought you was running things, you're the most powerful military on the earth and this and that. You thought, you could do anything, right? But the Lord has made you move with this pride that's led you into a trap, because you believe you can just, well, no, we're kind of seeing it, right? Trump's running in there, blowing up Iran, and now man's have to kind of double back now and talk about, we're doing talks, and we're going to stop the bombing, ceasefire. We're going to have a ceasefire because we have very constructive talks right now. Not the fact that you're not really achieving none of your goals that you said you were going to achieve. You haven't achieved any of them, right? And apparently no one's even been talking to you. You're just talking shit. But we'll see about this ceasefire. But he wants a ceasefire because he ain't achieving shit. But anyway, it says here, I have laid a snare for thee, thou art also taken, O Babylon. Thou was not aware, thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord, right? So you thinking you're just gonna do this and do that in the earth because you got the mightiest military in the earth, and you got all this money and all this shit. Well, you're gonna find that the Most High are gonna upset all your plans, right? This is not a foregone conclusion that you're just gonna go there and do this, do the regime change, take the uranium or whatever it is that you want to do. This isn't gonna go smoothly, right? You're gonna go down there and you're getting hurt. You're getting hurt right now. So Trump's just talking the most amount of shit, right? But you man are gonna get hurt, right? And like I said, this thing is gonna drag all these nations down in the Middle East to destroy each other, man. And that's what the Most High's plan is. That's the trap. That's the snare, right? That's what the Most High wants. Okay. And America is gonna suffer the worst out of it. All right. This is Joel chapter 3 and verse 2. I will also gather all nations. Right? What does it say? We are getting more involved in the war. Israel is trying to drag the UK into the wrong way. Everybody trying to drag everybody into the war. Got nothing to do with us, but because we're allies or supposedly or whatever, right? We have supposed to have some sort of obligation to help man out. But you man are starting wars. Like, what's that got to do with us? We didn't actually start no war. America didn't even consult nobody before they went into Iran. So what the fuck are we talking about here? But because you're losing or things ain't going to plan or whatever, right? You know, you want to, oh, you man should be helping us, but we didn't even fucking know about it. But now you want to send man down in ships and stuff to get blown up. You dumb? For what? You know. So yeah, that's what's happening, right? So that I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, okay, which is in the Middle East, right? I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and part of my land. So the Lord is doing this on behalf of His people, right? Which are not the Israelis, right? Those that are claiming to be the Jews and all that kind of stuff, right? The Lord is talking about His people, like actually His people, right? Not these posers, right? The Lord is bringing them all down there to basically avenge us, basically, right? And that's why the Israelis, they're gonna get fucked up too, because they're not the Lord's people, right? Their armies are down there too, man. The Lord's gonna destroy them all, right? So the Lord's bringing them down into the Middle East, right? So then I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and part of my land, right? Because we're the scattered ones, right? We're the ones being scattered around throughout the four corners of the earth, all right? And jumping down to verse 12, right, it says here, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Right, so the Lord is just, bunching them all up into the middle. He's going to, come down, right? Because the Lord's going to press you all, man, right? As the wine, as the grapes, right? To judge you, right? So this isn't over, like, not even far from being over, you know? Trump talking about ceasefire and scaling back and all this kind of stuff. It don't matter what he wants or what he's saying. It doesn't matter. What's going to happen is at some point in time, more and more people are going to be going down there. Come on down, right? They're all going to get called because the Lord is calling them in the spirit to come down and fight, right? So they're all going to be gathered down there, man. The Russians are going to come in. The Chinese are going to be there. Everyone's going to be there, right? All because the Most High has a judgment for them. Okay? It says, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Right? Because none of these nations are right. They're all going off, right? Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Right? So we know the time is coming. It's real close, right? The Lord is going to destroy our enemies, right? It says, the sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. The Lord shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake, but the Lord will be the hope of his people, right? And the strength of the children of Israel. Okay? That's all I need from that right now. Oops. This is Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 8. It says, therefore wait ye upon me, saith Lord Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey, for my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them mine indignation. Right? So that's what the Lord is doing. Right? That's why they're down there. Right? Obviously, Esau's got other agendas and different plans in his mind that he thinks he's doing. No, the reason why he's down there, what he's doing there. Right? But only everyone's, under the will of the Heavenly Father. Right? So they're down there for his purpose, not for their own, ultimately. Their agenda is not going to be served at the end of the day. But the Most High's will is going to be, right? And so the Lord is bringing them there, again, to be destroyed. To bring around World War III for the armies to be destroyed, right? So for my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. Right? Revelation 11 verse 14, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Right? So this is what the Lord is doing. That's why he's setting this up. He's setting the snare, the World War III up, man, for you to destroy each other. All right? This is Isaiah 66 and 16. Let's see. All right, I shall read the point, verse 16, right? It says, "For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many," right? The Lord bring great judgment and great death upon the earth, okay, in his wrath. Okay, not just those that are going to go fight in the wars, that are going to go down into the Middle East, into the Valley of Jehoshaphat, but around the world, right? There's all going to be all kinds of judgment going on, famine, you know, murder, like, you know, it's going to be a whole lot of things going on. You know, pestilences, plagues and pestilences, people dying from those things, right? All kinds of things are going to be going on, right? So the slain of the Lord is going to be many, man. But and even after America is destroyed, there's still going to be more judgment afterwards, more fire, more fire, right? This is Revelation chapter 19, verse 17. "And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, Come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great God, that ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great." Right? There's going to be so much death that the Most High is going to bring, right? Through the war and by other means. Right? There's going to be like a great banquet, a great feast for the birds of the air. Right? That's what he's saying. Okay? It says, "And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and the armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army," right? Because those armies that are left, okay, that are not destroyed in the Valley of Jehoshaphat and then down in the Middle East, right? They're going to gather together to fight the Lord when the Lord turns up with his angels. All right? And then they're gonna perish. You know? It's Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 17, right? So back to the least of the flock, these Amalekites, right? The Lord has a great hatred towards them. You know? And that's why he's setting them up to make these stupid ass decisions, to do these stupid ass things that are just gonna bring about their destruction. All right? So here's just an account of that, right? Deuteronomy 25, verse 17. "So remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way when you were come forth out of Egypt, how he met thee by the way, and smote the hindermost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast faint and weary, and he feared not the Most High. Therefore it shall be, when the Lord thy God, Yahweh, hath given thee rest from all thine enemies round about, in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek under the heaven, thou shalt not forget." Right? So we're meant to keep this in our minds, right, until they're destroyed. And the truth is, they haven't been destroyed yet. Saul, when he was supposed to do this, failed in doing so. So these Amalekites survived. They lived, right? And they are alive to this day. And they're the ruling class of this world right now. Right? The earth has been given into the hand of the wicked, right? Amalek are the ones ruling the earth. Right? And so this is why we have to remember these things. Right? Because the Most High will do this. He will blot out Amalek. Right? And this is going to happen when Yahweh Shai, comes. Right? And we put these nations in slavery, right? And, these Edomites are going to go into slavery for 1,000 years and then be removed from the earth. Right? So it will happen. It just hasn't happened yet. Right? But it's these small acts that's pulling the strings. These are Amalek. All right? So we're going to see a fulfillment of that in the kingdom. Because when we go back into our land, right? As I said, Saul failed to do that, when we was in possession of the land. It's Psalms 137, verse 7 says, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom, right? And Edom is the nation which Amalek is a part of, right? Remember the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof, right? Our temple. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Right? So they're connecting Edom and Babylon together as if they're one and the same thing, because spiritually they are. Right? America is modern day Babylon. Right? You Edomites are the ones ruling in Babylon, in America, right? You so-called white people, That's what you call yourselves, Caucasians or whatever, right? But you're the Edomites, ruling in Babylon. Okay? And that's why America is going to be destroyed, right? O daughter of Babylon, who are to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us, right? Because you put us in slavery. You persecuted us, right? Tortured us. All right, these things are going to befall you, right? Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. Right? The Lord ain't playing. Right? The Lord ain't playing, man. All right? I think that was even the last one. Right? So yeah, these Amalekites are a lot of the reason why a lot of these things are going on in the earth, right? Because they're pulling all the strings, right? And the Most High, he sees them. He sees them, right? They try to disguise who they are, right? Because these men don't even want to, acknowledge that Edom even exists. Except for when they want to invoke the idea that the nations that they're fighting against is Amalekites or whatever, or the Hamas and Iran, and these are the Amalekites, to justify your death and destruction. But the truth is, you're the Amalekites, right? Posing as Israelites, and the Most High sees everything that you're doing, just as we see you, right? We see this, we see through the lies and the bullshit, right? But the Most High really sees you, right? And the Most High remembers what you've done to His people. And the Most High remember the thing that He told us, that He's going to blot you out, right? So that time's coming, okay? It's not right this minute, but the time is coming, right? The Lord's going to fulfill all of that, right? Because these men are behind a lot of the wickedness in the earth, man. All right? So I'm going to end it there. Lord willing, this has been edifying, and I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video. Until then, shalom.